Hey guys, today in this video I want to show you how to make this beautiful fresh garland. But before I get into the process, let me show you some of the stuff you will need to do this project. First, you will need a piece of twine or rope, it doesn't really matter what it looks like, some paddle wire, this is 22 gauge paddle wire, and your hand pruners. And the only other thing you will need is whatever you want to put in your garland. So you can go out into your garden and clip pieces of evergreen, gather pine cones, branches, whatever you think is pretty. In my garland today, I used some spring grove arborvitae, some polar gold arborvitae, some winterberry holly. We've got some blue spruce, some beautiful junipers with gorgeous blueberries, and some Arctic fire dogwood. For the pine cones that I gathered out underneath my Colorado blue spruce tree, I just used a little piece of this paddle wire and wrapped it around the bottom to kind of create a false stem so they were easy to tuck in. So to make it, you need to cut a piece of twine however long you want your garland to be. Then you take your paddle wire and coil it tightly around one end, setting it to the front of the twine. Next, I'm going to gather up a pretty bundle of mixed greens and branches, keeping in mind that the size that I make my bundles will dictate how beefy my garland will end up being. And I want to try to keep all of my bundles close to the same size. So you lay that bundle on top of the wire and then grab the paddle and twist the wire around the greens tightly 3 times, making sure not to twist the twine around. The twine is just there to be your guide. Continue to make bundles slightly overlapping the previous bundle, wrapping each one with the wire. You won't cut the wire until the very end. When you make it to the end, you can either tie off the wire and hide the end with a bow or tuck it into a display, or you can make another bundle and face it the opposite direction, securing it with wire. There will be a bit of a gap between the last 2 bundles. To make it look complete, use your wire to secure individual branches or smaller bundles until it looks full. When it looks good to you, you cut the wire, leaving a little bit of a tail, and then sneak that wire through the greens and wrap it tightly several times until you run out of wire. So that's it. It's really not a hard project. I think the most time-consuming part of the whole thing is gathering all your materials. And hopefully you have some of these things planted in your garden so that you can just walk out your door and cut some when you need them. If you don't, you might consider planting them in your garden. I know I'm amping my garden up so I can have a lot of these things on hand whenever I want to use them. If you don't have these things in your garden though, I would check with your local garden center first. Usually around this time of year, they'll start carrying fresh greens, especially if they do, sell live Christmas trees and that kind of thing. We do at the garden center where I work. And then if that fails you, try your local florist because they do a lot of these types of arrangements this time of year and they can order them in for you. The other thing is if you cannot find fresh greens anywhere, you can always buy a cheap Christmas tree and cut it up into pieces and use it for this. And it actually is very pretty even without all the goodies. Just with one type of evergreen in there, it's a very beautiful garland, just have something fresh. You can always use silks. You can always go to the craft store as well and pick up some silks and use them. You'll have that garland forever. It doesn't look quite as good as fresh and doesn't smell as good, but it still works. I don't even know how many yards of garland I have made over the years. My mom taught me how to do it a long, long time ago. We give garland and wreath making classes every single year down at the nursery. It's a really fun, festive time, and I hope you guys give this project a try because it really does add something special to your holiday decor. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.